Okay, hello, hello. The start stream button has been pressed. OMN. The only person who was in the chat prior to the stream starting counts for something. Okay, I can hear myself already. So, are we started? Is nobody in the chat? Did I fall off? This is why you're a fraud? I guess so. I mean, I don't know what to say. But there's actually a lot to talk about. There's the Orbital Pathfinder. It seems like I'm the only reviewer left who has not talked about this thing. There's also 480 hertz OLED, which I've finally seen the light of OLED. What expectations do you have for the Finalmouse event? I think they're going to announce the ULX competition, and it's seemingly from the pictures, it's going to have flat sides, and I will also be live streaming it as I do every Finalmouse event. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. How is everybody doing on this fine Sunday? I try to start earlier so I don't lose my viewership to the NFL viewers, but today things just didn't line up. When are you doing the review on the 480 hertz OLED? That'll be like probably around a week, I'd say. I am still adjusting to it. I'm not going to lie. It actually is. It's amazing. And I was a PG 27 AQN shill, 1440p 360 hertz IPS. I was like, this is great. I recommended it to like everybody and their mother, even if their mother was like blind and quadriplegic. But it is better. I've finally seen the light with OLED, but I'm also still getting used to it. Like, I'm kind of shaky. I'm taking too much time to like confirm, just because I'm used to like more input delay. I think that is one like very noticeable thing. It's just there's less input delay all around. Artisan Shinkai. Yeah, they don't really make those anymore. OLED is far, 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 far better. It's definitely better. And the motion, like, it's very different. Playing Fortnite, I was used to ULMB2. So just not having that, but also, like, being on a higher refresh rate, it's different. It's taking a little bit of time to get used to, which is not what I expected. I just expected to, like, feel like, wow, this is the best thing ever. Do you actually use 1440p for gaming? Yeah. Like, performance-wise, I've been on 27-inch monitors for a while. There's just, like, I don't know. There's not really a concern for me. I just realized my camera died already. That is kind of impressive. But, yeah, do you guys care about the Orbital Pathfinder? Is that just, like, a mouse community thing? Because I will be reviewing it shortly. Using a 4K 32-inch 240Hz OLED. See, that, I don't know if I could do that. Has your Pulsar X2 V2 ever broke? Not. I don't recall ever having a unit just like fully break down on me. Slight like quality deterioration. Sure. I'm getting it soon. The monitor? Boardsy Finalmouse when? I have no idea. But yeah, this is the Sony InZone one. There is the Asus monitor, of course. I want to check out that Sony. It's pricey, and the biggest complaint I was seeing is the fact that it has a 1-year warranty, and I don't know, apparently it's low for an OLED. The Pathfinder. Ah, yes, the Pathfinder. I mean, this is very interesting. I don't know if any of you guys... The whole point of this, which I don't think anybody's going to contest, is that it's a modular mouse, and that is a great idea. But this unit that they sent to reviewers it's not a final unit. It's a 3D printed, heavier, way lower quality version than the supposed final product. So my sentiment is much closer to like fresh reviews than anybody else who reviewed it. Is the Pathfinder functional? Functional, yes, and it's a very good proof of concept, and like it works wirelessly, but the creaking, I don't know if you guys can hear, it's just like the worst I've ever felt on a mouse. Especially like these humps, I don't even know. Rocket Jump Ninja coomed hard for this mouse. Everybody in Australia did. Optimum Tech, Struth Gaming, Rocket Jump Ninja, they were all very high on it. But yeah, this hump, this is one thing that even on the final unit, I don't know if there's enough, like, connection points, really. But the Honorable Rocket Jump Ninja, I loved his take on the mouse, because at the end, I don't know how many of you guys caught this, he said he just likes using it with nothing on the sides, just the fucking bare, narrow mouse, which feels awkward. It doesn't really work. And then he said with a hump as well. So Rocket Jump Ninja, he's rocking it like that. I saw VT Matty said he was using the average sides and then using a hump. As you guys can see, if you guys are not fluent in this mouse, they give you all of these sides. But Rocket Jump Ninja, he opted for none of the sides. Lots of moving parts in that mouse. Yeah, and I really like the idea, and it's not going to be like, if the product has solid quality, it's a pretty amazing, like, unique product. But I don't know. This unit I have, it's just tough quality wise. But I do think the shape modularity is functional. There is also this one other thing, like with the sides on the right side, there isn't a ton of vertical room. So I don't know if this is like a feature or a flaw, but you can kind of like rest your ring finger on the top of this. And depending on the shapes, there are some like funky out there ones. Wait, fuck, this is the wrong side. What's the weight? This one, it ranges obviously because depending on like the sizes, the parts you use. But the test units are like in the mid 60-gram range, and the final ones are going to be like in the low to mid 50s. Why is everyone saying the Skyrox V8 is budget when it seems like it's just the best all around? Because it's a budget version of like an 8K Lamzu or Pulsar mouse. It's not the best mouse all around, unfortunately. My copy, it's really just fucked by the click quality. But there's no denying it's a good mouse for the price. But it's also not like, some people ask for like a budget mouse. I'll say Skyrox V8. They're like, oh, I want a $30 mouse. And it's like, there's no fucking $30 mouse. Is that a special Zebra scroll wheel? It is. It is indeed. The team, I will say the team is also very passionate. And one of the questions I asked them was like, how well will the sides hold up to the constant like removal? And they showed me a video of them like testing it with a machine. Like extremely fast and rapidly. They said it's gonna last like 80,000 uses, 20,000, and there are a lot of just absurd kind of shapes. But you know, it's nobody's ever done this on a mouse. Can Dex save Logitech? I would say the Dex is really good. It's just, I won't even say it's not working for me. I just wish the button height was a little bit lower. I guess that's like really the one thing. The curvature, like the flares, the Ergo design, it's very good. I'm not a big Ergo person, but I just don't know if it's going to be my main. And the sidebinds are also pretty high up. Do you think the Beastech Max should benefit from an Infinity Hump mod? Maybe. I also don't know if it's designed in the same way as Finalmouse to where that could easily be done. Type 99 or 0? I was actually using my Type 99 earlier, and this is a 0, so I'm fresh off that comparison. Type 99 is really just a more controlled, like, smoother to the touch 0. I would, if you want something more on, like, the balanced speed side, I would say 0, but really both of them are great. Are you getting the hit scan mouse? I don't know. As far as I know, that's very close to the ATK F1 Ultimate, and it's more expensive. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but this doesn't move me at all for 190 for 53 grams at the low, so maybe 3 comfortable configs for most people. Yeah, it's definitely, I feel like it's a very enthusiast-geared product for like people who are really into mice, into 3D printing especially, because they will allow you to like mod out the shapes. But for most people, especially if you already have like a $150 mouse, except for like just shape experimentation, I don't think it'll necessarily be the best mouse for you. Relatively fixed length and sensor positioning too. Yeah, the hump modding, like the hump extension, it really does work. But yeah, the width, it starts out very narrow as well. So there is at least customization with that. But there's like 3 right sides that are just fucking bizarre, and really only one of them works for me. I think it's called the Extra Claw. Oh, he got the Orbital? I've had it. I just didn't. I missed the memo where apparently like everybody just had a fucking embargo for the mouse and got it out. Yeah, this one, if I added a spacer, maybe it would work a little bit better. I'm really customized maxing. Do you know the price of the hit scan? I thought it was $100 on Max Gaming and then like 25 or so more for the dongle, which is just kind of crazy. What problems? Okay, man, you can't just spam that question. Like the clicks kind of got worse. Like, calm down, Jesus. You should review the Zalpin Z2 Mini, just released. I don't know. Zalpin Z2 Mini. Potentially, if MechKey sends it to me. It's one of those mice. I still gotta review that shitty Viper Mini clone as well, damn. Is mix and matching dot skates to get the perfect amount of control the meta? It's just something that I'm doing. I don't know. I just wanted to catch on. You gotta make sure they're the same thickness. Jades are a bit smaller than the Obsidian Airs. I don't think it really matters. So this, like, it honestly feels fine. Like, one of the top dot experiences I've had. It's not like wobbly or anything, but I don't know. What do you think of Pulsar's custom mouse service? I actually have one on the way. I made an America mouse with America colors. At first, it was looking too much like France, but I was able to dial it in to be red, white, and blue in an American way. But that service, it's definitely, like, if you found the perfect Pulsar mouse for you, it could potentially be worthwhile if you want, like, a customized one. I think I'm really going to enjoy that custom X2 V2 Mini, but we'll have to wait for it to arrive. What do you think about custom frames? I don't even know what that means. Like eyeglasses? Frames. I have no idea. Ace Harp Mini should be reviewed too. I have a white one in the mail. I mean, if Asus sends it to me, I was under the assumption that it wasn't going to release for a while. Asus, they reached out to me after my review with like a lot of bullet points, and I answered them. I gave them plenty of feedback. Hopefully that goes towards good use. Are you OLED pilled now? Yeah, I actually am. One day in, I'm OLED pilled. I was a big PG27AQN fan, but it's just better. But it's also, I didn't expect I would have to like take some time to get adjusted to how fast the monitor is. Like, especially in Fortnite, I'm just like, I don't know. It's like there's too much, like my timing windows have increased by so much. It's kind of crazy. Are you liking your Arbiter Akitsu? I bought one recently. It's been working well. Yeah, it's like a fine Finalmouse small alternative. I thought it was a bit overhyped. Review the Microsoft Basic Optical Mouse V2. Potentially, if the market dries up, I'll get back into old stuff. But that was another thing I realized with the Dex. It kind of just has like old, like, it's just like an old shape. This isn't really a 2024 mouse design. It's like very large. It's not copying the meta of just being a small shape. Very interesting. 480 hertz, it is indeed 480 hertz. And coming from 360, I don't think that's really the big difference I'm noticing. I'm sure it factors in a little bit, but just the monitor in general, it's so much faster. And people, I had seen graphs that said the PG27AQN was like, was kind of bad, like input lag wise, but I just didn't believe it. But with this, I can actually feel it. It's kind of interesting. Which would you pick, Ergo mouse or very light mouse? It depends. You can kind of get both of them. But Zalpin Z2 is the thing. Is that in relation to the Dex? Like the Zalpin Z2 is literally like just the worst Ergo shape. It's very interesting to me. I've gotten so many comments about that, and it's just so clear that people commenting about the Zalpin Z2 have not felt the Dex in hand. They're completely different. The Outset AX and the Thorn are really the only shapes that I would say have similar like profiles and experiences, but both of them are so like different in length. The weight modded version of the GPX Dex actually feels like very similar to the weight balancing of the Thorn. Is Attack Shark X3 a good budget mouse? It's all right. I wouldn't say it's really the best. Yeah, I don't know. Recommend an R1 Pro over it, probably. Compared to the Death Adder, it's different from the Death Adder. It's just not like, it's not an EC style of shape. You can see pretty much the curvature on both sides drastically different. But I mean, if you can palm grip a Death Adder V3, you'll probably be able to do the same with the GPX Dex. And if you enjoy one, you don't necessarily have to buy the other. Thoughts on the new ETK gear? I saw like announcements. I thought those were just collabs. I didn't really care. Armrests on or off? I've never like rested my arm in a way where it would matter. Like I have armrests on my chair, but I don't use them for aiming. BoardZcast episode 2 when? We were never able to secure the second guest. When the second guest is secured, there will be a second episode. But there's just a very, I just have a very specific want list for these guests. How do you break in new skates? Just by using them is generally the best way to do it. If you have a glass pad, you can do like figure eights, but that's, I don't know, that's about it. Mini God for second episode? It's not going to be an aimer. It's going to be like the father of all aimers, if you're getting what I'm getting at. The honorable aimer. Founder of it all. Why are people getting excited about Smush GPX when we're living through 30-gram 4K Hertz Chinese gaming mouse arms race? I don't know. China's going crazy, even with keyboards as well now. I'm seeing a lot of like anti-Wooting sentiment. It's very, very concerning, I would say. Aimer 7, not Aimer 7. Though that would, he could substitute in as the second guest. That's not who it would be. It would be Rocket Jump Ninja. He is the ideal second guest. This guy's spamming Latina or mixed. No comment. New ATK keyboard seems to be one of the best on the market. People say this about every keyboard release. Thoughts on bidets? They're good. They are, from my time in Japan, they were, there was nothing negative about them. I guess that's what I would say. Want to get my first gaming mouse, so any recommendations? Really depends on your budget. You were talking about a Attack Shark X3. It's pretty cheap. You could get like a... I don't see, it's tough. Because I don't feel like you want to spend $150 on a mouse. You could get like a wired mouse for like under $70, an endgame gear mouse. Wouldn't steer you wrong. But VXE Mat R as well, it's like a safe budget pick. Look, I love the CS2 shape, but the clicks and coding were ass. Anything similar? Would that be like the X-Lite Mini or the X-Lite standard size? One of the Pulsar mice was very close to the CS2 Ace, I believe. Is getting the GSR2 for 18 USD secondhand a great deal? It's a good deal. I wouldn't say it's great. I mean, it's not bad, I guess. Closest mouse shape to a Viper Mini? It's interesting. There's nothing really one-to-one. Which makes no sense. Like, China... I wish I could just knock some sense into these people making the Chinese mice. Because if they're going to, like, flood the market with all of these clones, why can't they at least be, like, clones of other shapes? Like, why is it always, like, the same fucking shape? Favorite pizza place? Luigi's in Brooklyn. And there's multiple, which is something that I was made aware of. The Luigi's on 20th Street and 5th Avenue. There you go. The latency and stuff from the leak seems to be around the HM66 level. Yeah, I don't really know. Keyboard latency, it seems like it's all a sham. People reference like latency all the time, but I just never see any tests conducted, so I don't buy it. Thoughts on the GPX newest batch? I haven't tried one, but presuming the clicks are pretty much the same as they are on the decks, I would think it's just, slightly better version of the GPX. Have you been using the decks? Yeah, I'd say it's definitely been my main these past few days. There's not really anything else. Also, the endgame gear mice I've been using a bit because I have to, today's the 29th, and then on the 2nd, the Orbital Pathfinder pre-orders open. So I want to have my review out before then for that mouse. And then the endgame gear mice are available on the 2nd. Then I got to review the Wooting ADHE. Then I'll probably get to 480 hertz. I got to fit a Mousepad review in there somewhere. There's just so many reviews to make. So little time. Any reason to get a Tarek/ASU used if you got a ULX with no QC? No. You definitely don't need to spend another like $150 plus if you have a perfectly fine version of the same mouse. Especially since maybe the announcement on the 8th, they're not going to do a drop, but there will be another Finalmouse drop sometime soon. So I'd recommend even waiting for that. How does the Karl Anthony Towns trade affect the Knicks championship odds? I'm a fan of that. I'm not going to say I was a Randall hater, but I think a lot of people are looking back on Randall like he's like literal god. So I think the trade, it may work out well. It's a formidable lineup, 1 through 5. I like all of the options. But Mitchell Robinson's probably going to get traded. He was one of my guys. But more importantly, the Mets might choke. And then whenever a Mets season ends, I'm going to stop wearing this hat. And then I'm going to get one of the NYC mayor hats that Eric Adams always wore. In honor of him, friend of the channel, Eric Adams, who's, I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a lot of unfortunate things going on in that man's life. Is LGG going to do a Venus Pro V2 with a firm back? I don't know. It's a good question. Did they, like, give up on the Venus? I'm trying to think about it. I have no idea. I'll try to ask Lethal Gaming Gear. I will review the Neptune Pro soon. That's a good pad. The Dex looks AI generated. It's a good shape. It's like a Logitech. It's a Logitech innovation. You can tell they put some effort into this shape. They took the Lamsey Thorn and they're like, we got to make this our own. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's large, and I fucking wish the button height was a few millimeters lower. I think Extrify really just like button height pilled me. Should I get the Pulsar X-Lite 3 size 2, Mini Death Adder, or the Dex? See, the Dex would just be way bigger in hand than this. You're pretty much asking, like, do I get a small mouse, a medium mouse, or a large mouse? I don't know your hand size. For me, of those three, definitely the Dex, but I'm not you, so I don't know if that answers the question. See, oh my god, the fucking spamming. It's just, you gotta stop asking about the X2V2, and the only way you're gonna learn that is through a 5-minute timeout. How have you been? I've been well. That's how I would put it. I mean, honestly, gaming setup-wise, it's been pretty amazing. I don't remember last time there was this much setup innovation, or setup change, really, in fucking forever. I got the Wooting ADHE, 480Hz OLED, a new Logitech mouse, still an artisan pad, and that speaks volumes. Like, what's going to get me off artisan? I don't think anything. You show an aggressive fingertip grip. I mean, there's like the fingertip grips. Wait, fuck! I just like picked up the worst mouse to try it on. I mean, some people like will fingertip an M2K like this. I consider that very, very aggressive, or like an Optimum textile, as you can see. Is the Shinnkai gonna be updated? I would imagine, but I don't know when. Like, Artisan said that, well, we were under the impression that the Key 83 was gonna release back in like, what, April? And now it's almost October, and there's still no Key 83, folks. I just joined, but what is your current favorite mouse? Probably the Viper V3 Pro. In general, like, I'm not gonna say it's my main, but the past few days I've been using the GPX deck since I got it, and it pretty much hasn't given me a reason to get off of it. Bro, what is the best budget mouse? Depends on your budget. VXE Mad R, though, it's not bad if you're, like, if you want the cheapest viable mouse. Skyrox V8, $70 is a pretty good, like, semi-premium deal. Is the Key 83 a faster Shinnkai? Not at all. It's like a, I'd say it's most comparable to like a slightly slower Otsu, maybe not even slower. I just got the Viper V3 wired, and I love the sensor. Viper V3 wired. What is that? Am I going insane? Am I having a stroke? Maybe. Though I'm stuck at 2K polling rate with test. Viper V3 wired. Wow, I just have no idea. Oh, Death Adder V3? Is that? Oh, Death Adder V3. Okay. You're good. I was just fucking confused for a second. Just joined. Any news about the Lamzu Pero? I have no idea. Lamzu Pero. Lamzu said they would send it when the 3950 version's ready, and that seems like it's been taking a while for that to happen. Somebody wants to see fingertip on the Skyrox V8. This is kind of how I would pull off that grip style, as you can see. Setup Sunday when? I don't know. Not today. I was just thinking, like, today would be, trying to do Setup Sunday, that would be too much. OLED out of 10. I'd say it's like a 9 so far. It's not, when I went from 390 hertz to the 1440p 360 hertz, that was like an instant, I just realized that was the best monitor. But this, I noticed it's a lot better, but it's not as much of a leap, weirdly. Or maybe it is. I've just aged so much, my reactions have gotten much worse. Do you have earnings on Fort? No, sadly. 7 years, no earnings. WMouse releasing a sub 40G carbon OP1 shape clone. Is it though? Because I've seen so many pictures, and I've seen this narrative form, but I just haven't actually seen like any pictures of it where it looks like an OP1 clone. Is it like a larger OP1, in which case that would not be a clone? Thoughts on Karl Anthony Towns to Knicks? I gave my thoughts on that earlier, but I think it's great. I think it's like the Knicks have a great lineup, 1 through 5, which is something that I don't think I've seen to this level in my life. So there's that. There's something to look forward to. Isn't the Jets game on as well? How's that going? I probably just started. Maybe there's some scoring. If the Jets don't beat the fucking Broncos, I don't even know. Tragic. Is IKEA Mousepad still viable in 2024? It'll still track your mouse. The new ones, though, I think they're different. I don't know if they're good. But yeah, pretty much, I don't know. I've just learned that any mousepad is going to get the job done. Someone posted the bottom of the new WMouse and it looks convincing? Okay. Because I only saw pictures from like the Tokyo Game Show or whatever, and it just didn't look like an OP1 to me. Best mouse for small hands, $100 budget? I mean, Skyrox V8. There's Lamzu mice are in the mix. A lot of them. ATK, I guess. I don't even know. My VXE R1 Pro makes a weird sound before it clicks as I push it down. That's believable, you know. You guys see, you guys will comment like, I need a budget mouse, but like once you get it, you forget that it's a budget mouse. Truth hurts, and so forth. Sensor positioning makes or breaks mice for me, and not many people talk about it. There's a lot of people in my comments who have been like very sensor position pilled recently. Seems like something over the past year. Maybe because like so many mice just have like low sensor positions and it fucks with people. But yeah, I really appreciate a nice slightly forward place sensor. Did you see that Wooting's giving white ADHD customers an option to wait 2-3 months for a revised zinc case? I did not see that, but I believe it. I don't really have any issues with mine. The just like black plastic one's fucking basic as hell. Have you gotten the masterpiece from Ghost Glides yet? No, and I probably won't. I don't think it's that groundbreaking of a design. Like I don't really care for it. Rate my setup. B6 Max plus Endgame Gear MPC 450. That's a solid setup. MPC 450. That's like, I haven't used that pad in years, honestly. Is there issues about the OP1 8K? I just find the shape too narrow. That's really what it is for me. And the scroll wheel is not high quality. How much did you pay for the Viper V3 Pokemon? I paid like the first day it was available. I paid like $240 all in on AliExpress, which was a terrible price. And then my unit was creaking, so Razer reached out to me. They're like, "Oh, we'll send you a new one. Send this back to us." And I got this new one from Razer, which is still creaking. How will 480 Hz OLED affect the state of the Bean TS leaderboards? I mean, I got a new Bean Click high score with 480 Hz OLED, but I have not yet played Bean TS. But we can only imagine it will increase my place on the leaderboards. If not, I'm fucking returning the thing, and I don't even know. I'm not even gonna play. I prefer sensor positioning farther back. Am I schizo? Okay, that's crazy. Because now there are sensor positioning people. They're generally pro forward sensor position. But now you're pro back sensor position. It's just impossible to satisfy people. I think that's the real issue with sensor position. Will 480 Hz OLED affect the Hawk Tua podcast? I don't know. Probably not. I see it's like one of the top podcasts in America, though, so good for her. God bless. Would Razer have replaced the creaking copy of an ordinary client? Curious. I don't know. It's like most people wouldn't have a Razer rep email them about that, probably. So I'd guess maybe if they do a global release, definitely. But this, I did have an AliExpress warranty, but I don't know if I had a Razer one. Everything was in Chinese. Is the Viper V3 Pro white have side popping issues? Not in my experience. Both the white and the black ones were perfectly fine, but I used the Pokemon one over my black one, which is fine for whatever reason. Are you reviewing the Wooting ADHD? I will. My issue is with keyboards is I haven't plugged in another keyboard since I got the ADHD. Like, it's just fine for me. It's because unlike mice and mouse pads, keyboards, I'm just happy to stick with something. Same thing with monitors, but mice and mouse pads got schizo out, gotta switch all the time. But yeah, like ADHD, it's perfect. Not really much for me to complain about. And so forth. Yo, I'm casual with the 9 New Zealand dollars. God bless. Best picks for palm grip, relaxed claw. I use a Viper V3 Pro and I learned I don't really like the rear hump, a bit too high/heavy. Interesting. So you want a palm grip, relaxed claw, but you don't want something like the V3 Pro. It's very interesting. Have you like tried an Ergo mouse? Maybe like a Dex or a Death Adder V3 Pro. The GPX Dex, I mean, it's definitely going to feel high like in the back of your hand, so it might not be what you want, but it's trendy, it's new. Good work. There's also plenty of smaller stuff. What are your thoughts on modding mice? Generally, you're not really going to get a better experience. Like simple mods like grip tape and skates, yeah, go for it, but whenever you start like removing weight, messing with the balancing, just like, I don't know, there are like other weird ones like bottom plate replacements I've never bought into, but some people have. How's the motion blur on the monitor? It doesn't seem like there's much blur or ghosting, like notable amounts in the time I've played so far, especially like compared to the PG27AQN. I guess there is more blur in Fortnite as opposed to when I had ULMB2, but it just feels like there's so much less latency in general. It's just creating a different experience. But I think it's better. Are higher polling rates worth it for budget mice? See, a question like, are you trying to buy a mouse that has like different options for polling rate? I guess if all you care about is the cheapest mouse, opt for a lower polling rate version, potentially. Heart base extreme for a long mouse without a too offensive hump? Yeah, I mean, if you want to pay the fucking extreme price, especially in Australia that guy was from, it's probably like 300 Australian dollars, maybe even more. Is there a large difference between 165 and 240/360? Yeah, definitely. 165 is not the best monitor experience you can get. I would recommend 240 is really solid. Like, if you get a solid 240 hertz, you're fine, but I've been on 360 since like 2021 or something. Back sensor positioning makes it feel like wrist movement is slower, but elbow flick still feels the same. I mean, I don't know. Sensor implementation is one of those things that people schizo out about. You get the Heart Base Mini yet? No, I don't know. Like, have they actually shipped out? I just thought they were up for pre-order. Thoughts on the Zowie Booth? I don't have too many thoughts. I mean, I guess the new mice themselves are pretty shocking, but we've kind of expected it and hoped for it from Zowie for a while. So, oh, my camera died again. Kind of tragic. But yeah, it seems like now Zowie is finally going to release all of their mice and wireless. Any impressions on the XM2 8K? I've had it for a while now. There's really, if like you've used a wired version of the XM1, that's just what it is, you know. It's solid. Quality's good all around. There is a little bit of click grinding though, but it's nothing out of the ordinary when it comes to the XM1. Heart Pace Mini is out, but they pulled in Ninjutsu with no 8K dongle? Interesting. How can we paint mouses for our own designs? How does the designs work? What are you talking about? I just have no idea. Am I the only one who still uses LG? Like an LG monitor? I don't know. My only time trying LG was with their OLED 240 hertz, and I don't know. They just had to like stick to what did I say? Stick to washing machines. Like the TVs or the monitors were no good. And Sony, I thought they were going to disappoint me. I thought they were going to have to like stick to PlayStations, but they did well. LG is legit. They manufacture panels. Now, I'm literally never trying an LG monitor again after I was gaslit so bad by people. They were like, "Oh no, this monitor is good. It's not too dim. There's not input lag. It's not too blurry." But it was. So, I don't know. I'm just done with LG monitors. What was so bad about the monitor? I'm sure like the new batches are fine, but it was just like just an awful first batch situation, but with a monitor, which is not something I had experienced. So I was like, this is the worst thing ever. I'm using 240 OLED too, but I think it still dims. I don't know. LG makes a lot of the panels. They can make the panels, but understanding what to do with them is a whole nother thing. And I would argue that all of those 240 Hz OLED panels they left a lot to be desired. And now with 480, we're here. Maybe. Can you do a vid on mouse for CS2? I don't really play CS, but if they do have like one of those big LANs and I can analyze players' mice, I'll do that. Your new monitor has an LG panel in it. Lol. Yeah, but it's not fucking like the company that sold this monitor to me was not LG, so I'm okay with it. There's a LAN right now. Final is live. Yeah, well, people say like there's a LAN. Is it like a major? G2 versus not. See, those are teams. Those are certainly teams. It's just like, I don't know, something about CS is like innately boring to me. I feel like I just lost tens of thousands of subscribers for saying that. LG is kind of good with the panel. I mean, if it's an LG panel, it's a fine panel. I'm not going to argue that, but Jesus Christ. LG and LG Display are two different entities. Okay, I got somebody in the chat on my side. There's a Shanghai major coming up soon. No major right now. Got it. Do you play Deadlock? No, and it seems like Deadlock has kind of fallen out of favor. Nobody I know, besides Slidebug, really plays it anymore. Does the tiny little circular power connection on the PG27AQDP? Wait, I don't even think I had the PG27AQN. I don't even know what that is. There was something weird with the power connector. Maybe that's just an Asus thing. They do things weird. Everything. I know you're not huge on keyboards, but will you try the forged carbon WL mouse? Yeah, if they send it out to me. I don't know what keyboards to really check out. People say Sayakib is a good company. Deadlock is so fun. Nah, that shit is fire if you're a Dota player. Yeah, it seems like it's a good game for, like, MOBA people. And I see, like, Sinatra plays it. And, like, JC Stanny, like, those types. But that's just not my type of game. Top 3 mice going into next year? I don't know. Bro, the game isn't even officially released? Yeah, but it might as well be. What do you mean? Like, sure, they're going to change some things, but, like, it's fundamentally, it's the game. Feel like Wooting's still top? You still stick with the Wooting? Yeah, nothing's going to take me off the ADHE. Last week, there was some great keyboard debate. Like, there were fucking, what was it, like a drunk deer truther? It was insane. That's, like, one of the issues with keyboards and peripherals in general is people will just try one thing, and then that's the best thing. It's not until you try everything that you can really just look at the market with a straight face. They were delusional last week? Yeah, there was some exceptional delusion. Why no Twitch streams? Because it just makes more sense for me to stream on YouTube. It is unfortunate that my Twitch like kind of died, but I don't know. How's the 480 hertz? It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And another thing with the OLED, it's obviously like this isn't a revelation, but when I just walk into my room, I'm like, wow, this is truly black. And my other monitor, it's like, wow, that's not really what black looks like. So the viewing experience, it's great. Gaming experience has been great, but it's just like, it's too fast. Need to adjust. Sony doesn't produce panels. True, don't they? Like, it's not even that they don't produce the panels, but like they're just kind of like the name. Like this is an in-zone monitor or whatever. Why does click feel always seem neglected? What do you mean by that? Just like across the board on mice? Modded Wooting is still something that I can't leave. Yeah, and I heard that the ADHE doesn't have the same like universal modding ability, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but probably just stick with it in the plastic version. Do you think Alienware 360 is better than Asus 380? I have no idea. I'm just 480 hertz OLED pilled. I think with the monitors in general, if you're not at the absolute top of the market, you're just on a trash monitor. It's something I've come to realize. And I used to be, like, I was on the Acer 390 hertz for years. I used to be like a budget monitor coper, but I've seen the light. Seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, as Martin Luther King once said. What do you guys know about that? Old mouse, but how was HyperX Pulsefire Haste 2? People ask me about this often on stream. It's not good. Like HyperX wired mice, just it's antiquated, very very outdated. ADHE will probably get aftermarket cases. Okay, interesting. There's some hope. Hi Boardsy, what's your thoughts on the Incat G23? Just like a worse GPX in every way. So it's like, why did you buy it? But then it is cheap. So there's that. I don't really know though. There's really only 3 companies that make OLED panels: LG, Samsung, and Sony. Well, people were saying that Sony doesn't make panels. See, monitor politics, it's why I just stay out of it. There's just too much confusion. I do feel like I'm on a good monitor. But since I have the monitor experts in here, evidently, is the Asus monitor better? Or is it just like the same? Sony 1000X, I presume, percent, makes their own panels. Interesting. So I've been fed misinformation. What's your favorite mouse shape? That's a good question. I get asked this a lot. Sometimes I'll be like, my favorite shape is like the Finalmouse small for fingertip, but then I'm like, is it really? And I don't think it is. I wouldn't say like the Viper V3 Pro at all. It's too early to say it's the Dex, and I don't even think that's my favorite shape. I think the button height's too high. I don't really like have a favorite shape. I kind of just like mold to like whatever I'm using. Kind of what I've begun to realize. How would you compare the Dex to Death Adder V3? I'll talk more about it in my full review, but the Dex is going to feel like a little bit more filling. The Deathfire V3 has like a wider hump experience though, kind of, if that makes sense. But another thing, like you can just look at the bottom of the mice, and this does not have a similar like look to the design as an EC style mice does. That just paints part of the picture. You think we're beginning to reach a point of such dramatically diminishing returns that higher prices are no longer justifiable? I don't know. I kind of like see it the opposite way. Like if you're a price-minded person, absolutely just go for like the cheaper options. But I don't know. I'm just always like, maybe it's just like mental illness that I'm just always wanting the best of the best. That I don't really care what it costs. But I'm in a different position from like just the average user. As for a lot of people, like, yes, splurging on the Wooting doesn't make sense when you can get something pretty much as good for like 120. How much is your monitor? It came out to like, I think like 1,050 or something. I used some code. Oh, I signed up for fucking emails, so they gave me $25 off. That's pretty big time. What skates do you use? It really depends on the mouse. I have some X-ray pad dot skates, mixing and matching. These are like some eSport Tiger skates. These are Ghost Glide Cyclones, I think. More eSport Tiger skates, etc. Splurging. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the other thing with like reviewing stuff. Like products have different, like prices have way different meanings to different people. It's very interesting. Thoughts on switching from Model O2 wired to Viper V3? I think it's a great idea, and you're not going to regret it. You're going to be like, wow, I just got a way better mouse experience. Just hope that Logitech won't charge you for monthly subscriptions. No, I think Logitech redeemed themselves. They realized, I think they went into like a crisis mode when their CEO said that, and they were like, fuck, we got to like just break the emergency glass, release a good shape, satisfy people for a year or two. Do you think the OP1 8K is overrated? I think it being universally recommended is like interesting because it is just such like a small narrow shape. I don't feel like it fits most of mouse users, but maybe it does. Is Finalmouse cooked and washed up in 2024? It's hard to recommend the like $200 for a Finalmouse, but who knows? Their event on the 8th. Wow, that's somewhat soon. I will be live streaming it, so we'll see what the future holds for Finalmouse. Will they change the game once more, or will they just release a flat-sided version of the shape? Which honestly could be good, especially if it's lighter, which it is rumored to be. Did you buy the F1 Leviathan version? It looks sexy. I did not, but I could. Is that the Extreme? I actually don't. If it's the Ultimate, I'm not going to buy it. If it's the Extreme, I will. Do you think BTL are the best skates on the market? I would say I prefer X-Ray Pad Jades, honestly. I think X-Ray Pad skates are great, but people say like the R2 skates from AliExpress, which I bought and they just won't fucking show up, are good. So, I don't know. It's probably fine. The Orbital is the white mouse in the background. True. Kind of forgot to talk about this. I was talking about it for a little bit. I have some of the right side attachments. And I will say, I feel like in terms of what you get from the stock package, the right side is really the only like part that has been explored to the extreme. Like the humps, there's nothing that's really going to shock you. It's just like low, medium, high profile, and then a right-handed one, which honestly I think the right-handed one leaves a little bit to be desired. Maybe it's just because they don't have a lot of room to work with. But yeah, the left side, I guess the left side you can only do so much, and the average profile is just very natural for people. I don't think the OP1 is too small. If anything, I experience the opposite problem where I find the back uncomfortably wide. That is insane. What mouse had you used like previously? I just find the OP1, it's way more narrow than a ULX small, and that's about as narrow as I can go. It's like fucking meatball hands. When Type 83? The Key 83? I don't know. I don't know when it's going to release. It's a good question. If you asked me 6 months ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, probably in April or May. But we're long past April and May. I think I will wait till there will be more humps for the Pathfinder. Yeah, there's no shame in waiting. First batch products of just regular mice are notoriously shaky. And now this is a product that is way more complicated than a regular mouse. Yeah, who knows? I don't even know. That's why it's hard to give like a glaring recommendation to. Came from the HTX to the OP1, clawing the HDR. Clawing the HDR is crazy, but HTX to OP1, that makes sense because both of those are like really like small mice, and the HTX is lower profile, so that actually does make sense. I want a thick and plush mousepad like the Focus 3, but a little bit slower. I don't know. I'd probably just like use slower mouse skates or something. Actually might be a high IQ idea, because there's not many pads that are that thick on the market, honestly. GPX 2 decks versus Viper V3 Pro. It's really too early for me to answer, but one thing I found interesting is after like a few days of using the decks, I went back to the Viper V3 Pro and it just feels like way more natural for fingertip, I guess, because I was used to a larger mouse. Why is Logitech not changing the skates? I think they're just... See, I actually don't know. It's kind of similar to the Sidebuns, where I don't know if it's by design or if they just refuse to change it. The skates, maybe they just want like controlled skates. Clearly a lot of pros are okay with them. But yeah, I don't know. Logitech, interesting company. Focus 3 Max close to the Artisan Zero. Like total experience wise, yeah, I'd honestly say it's kind of close. It's just a lot thicker, which obviously makes it different. What would be a closest feeling shape to a GPX Dex? They're not identical, but I'd say it's the Lamzu Thorn, and then kind of like the way the back of the mouse feels is similar to the Vaxi Outset AX, but the Outset AX is so much shorter and like stubbier that it just feels way different in hand. And people have been commenting. Some of them are like, "Oh, I have the Thorn, I love the Dex. Oh, I have the Thorn, I hate the Dex." And it's just Ergos are so personal, so preferential. But you can see, like, the Thorn isn't an exact clone. Be honest, the Razer Con was disappointing. I was never contesting that. I didn't even watch it. They might have... Did they release any mice? I have no idea. ATK F1 Ultimate or Viper V3 Pro. Definitely the V3 Pro for me. What did you eat for breakfast today? I had, like a piece of toast with some like scrambled eggs and little pieces of ham. Just solid sustenance breakfast. You're huge on MU57. I don't know what that means, but happy to hear, I guess, hopefully. Just got the GPX2. Please don't tell me I wasted my money. Radiant Valorant. You certainly didn't waste your money. It's just like one of the safest mice out there. Oh, somebody told you wasted your money. Damn. What do you think about the KSI controversy? Generally, whenever there's controversy, I don't care too much, unless it's mouse-related drama. But with the KSI stuff, like he's selling a shitty version of Lunchables, which is probably going to cost more. It's just, yeah, it is what it is. He's doing what he wants to do. No coffee. No, I did have a... Well, see, I had like a pre-breakfast coffee, like right once I woke up, pretty much. Thoughts on butter chicken? I'm not going to lie, I've never been Indian food pilled. And I don't mean that in like a racist way, as I've seen some sentiment on Twitter that does seem to imply that. I'm just, Indian food, Vietnamese food, I think that there are cultures that have genuinely great food. And maybe India does. I just haven't been exposed to it, but I don't know. They're not in like my top 5 food cultures. Did Zowie send you the U2 early? Yeah, they did. Way back. And then I got a new one. There we go. Are you friends with Rocket Jump Ninja? Friend would be a strong word. I don't think we have beef anymore, so it's getting close to the way there. No way you don't fuck with Viet food. I just think the Vietnamese sandwiches are nothing special. And one of my friends got very mad at me for saying this, and I named like 7 countries that make better sandwiches. And I can't remember them off the top of my head, but it's an argument that I've had, and I just don't think it's a special sandwich. And I haven't really tried any food beyond that. There is just like one thing I've tried. Favorite cuisine? I don't know. See, now that's a tough one. I can just tell you what it's not. How about Japanese food? I like Japanese food. Japanese food grew on me, especially after going to Japan. Then again, there are some things like I'm not a huge ramen truther, which that messes people up. Vietnam has pho? Yeah, they have. Lots of cultures have their noodles. Do you fuck with seed oils? Yeah, that's the thing that those cultures are lacking that really needs to be in the cuisine. Bad first experience bias? No, it's not a first experience. Like I've probably been to like 20 of these fucking sandwich shops throughout New York City in my lifetime. They all have such a small footprint. You can't make a great sandwich in a shop that small. Maybe that's the truth. Did you see this NASA study on caffeine? I didn't. They made worse webs with caffeine. Maybe that's true, but good thing is we're not a spider. How is bro the energy bill? I don't know. Energy's cheap. I think that's the thing a lot of Europeans get confused because energy's not cheap over there. Do left-handed mouse users deserve better from the market or should they suck it up? I don't really. I think they should have one option. Like there should be one left-handed Ergo. One company should have done that. I think they did kind of get fucked over there. But in general, I don't think every mouse needs a left-handed variant. But, you know, it's like Razer could afford it. Razer did? Yeah, they did like a decade ago. Energy cheap. Americans are so cool. Yeah, America's pretty tough. How's your day going? It's going great. How long have I been live? 51 minutes. Feels as though it's been longer. Deck shape or the Extrafy Ergo? Definitely the decks, but if we could have had like, we could have sacrificed a few inches of button height on the, or a few millimeters of button height on the Extrafy mouse, and then instead we reduced that button height on the decks, I would have liked that. But, you know, I don't know. Like, just look how high the buttons are, man. People really like that? They're like, oh, it's more stable. Really? Questionable. Thoughts on Final Boy saying this? He said the word this. That's in many people's vocabulary. Where do you keep all of your mice? Like, you have hundreds? There's this shelf behind me, which is just, it has probably 100 mice, and there's that shelf, which has some, then there's shelves over there. It's just, you pretty much, you get enough shelves, you can store anything. Have you tried spud potatoes? I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but maybe. Dude, skip my comment every time for no reason, dude. Back to the subject. Well, I read that comment. Apologies for missing the other ones. Beep, beep. Yeah, there's some, aren't you in Brooklyn? There's a good banh mi spot on 8th Avenue and 43rd Street. I'm not gonna dox myself, but I will say I live so close to that place, and I've tried it, and that place is what's giving me this judgment. Like, it's a fine sandwich. It's just not spectacular. Like, there are Italian places that make sandwiches that fucking walk all over that. All banh mi spots are the same. That's something that I've gotten a vibe on as well. It's not a complex sandwich. Let's be honest here. It's like, I'm fucking freaking out over these sandwiches. Like it's a mouse, but I don't know. I feel so passionately about this. Maybe I should be a food critic. Wait, AliExpress mouse is good. I've been talking about sandwiches for the past 10 minutes. I don't know where you heard that, but there are some fine mice on AliExpress. Beep, yeah, I don't know what's going on outside. You know, some cars being a dick or something. You know, not moving. Have you tried Filipino food? Not really. I can't, like, think of a Filipino dish or a Filipino spot that I've been to. And there are, I feel like Filipinos are more predominant in the West Coast. When will OP1 8K and XM2 8K review come out? So I think those mice drop on October 2nd. So hopefully maybe that day. Boardsy sandwich reviews? It's possible. It's possible. Can you tell the cars in your background to shut up? I hear some, like, there's some guy screaming now. Have you tried Bengali food? No, but I would imagine that's pretty close to Indian food. How do you handle spice? I'm good with spice. Very good with spice. Some people say they've never seen a white person handle spice the way I can. When did mouses become a word? It's mice people? I agree, but that's a it's like a battle I just stopped fighting a few years ago. Top 3 mice you'd expect to be on sale on Prime Day? I don't know, just Razer and Logitech stuff generally, maybe even Asus. Eat meat. Yeah, meat is, I mean, some people oppose it, you know, they're like, it's cruel. It is cruel to eat meat. And they have arguments, they do. Have you seen the Skyrox V8? Yeah, I reviewed it. It's a good mouse. Mine just, like, the click, I don't know, you can even hear it now. It's gotten worse. It's like popping. Frankly, no good, but like when you just click it straight on, it's fine. And the rest of the mouse in general, it's a ridiculous package. What FPS games are you playing right now? What are your top 3 FPS games? Really, I don't know. The only games I've played since getting this 1440 hertz or 1440p 480 hertz OLED monitor have been Kovacs and Fortnite. So that's really really what it comes down to. That creaking, popping wiggle shit on M1. Gnar. Yeah, it's no good, but the other unit I had was fine, but I gave that away. Thoughts on buying refurbished mice? They used to be very popular to buy them to use as a mod, but just in general, you're taking a big risk. Unless you're getting a big discount, I wouldn't do it. Bro plays Fortnite. Hayseed is the king in Fortnite. The Hayseed skin, I do have that. You never have been into CS? No, because I wasn't. What you got to understand is I was a console child, and until I was 15, I didn't even have a PC, and by that point, I was playing Fortnite. So I started PC playing Fortnite. So I never really grew up on CS as many people did. Bro was a console child. Exactly. Valorant? I've I dabbled in Valorant for a bit, but since I just didn't I feel like tac shooters are something that you grow up with and then you just kind of settle with it for life. But for me it's never really scratched the itch. Your hand size, 21 by 11, give or take. How'd you become a mouse YouTuber? It was really the glorious Model O that started it all. I just recorded a rant because the mouse was letting me down. So I reviewed it. I got a lot of hate, and I just kept reviewing. That's what it... You can see it on my channel. You can go down. It's a good mouse shape that really supports the back of your palm. I mean, Death Adder V3 Pro, GPX decks, these are popular ergos that definitely provide some palm support, like Pulsar X2H, standard size, if you want an ambi mouse. Is that modular thing any good? Actually, it's tough because the units they sent reviewers are really creaky, they have issues, and it's heavier than the final product. It's by no means the final product. So it's hard to give a recommendation to. What nobody is arguing is that it's a great idea. I said it myself earlier in the year that modular mice, they should be a thing. And here we have a modular mouse. I'm not going to say the execution's bad and don't buy it, but it's definitely it's not perfect, but this is also not what they're expecting people to pay $190 for, but all of the reviews are on these units. So it's just a predicament. How does mouse input feel on the OLED? It just feels like there's less delay. It's a noticeably faster monitor than the 360 hertz from Asus was. Thoughts on the Ghost Rider? It's not a great skin in my opinion. Which is the recent skin I bought? Oh yeah, the Eagle. The second bird skin release, I got the Eagle, and there was another one. Oh yeah, the Cuddle Team leader that's made of the gummy material. I just use the all blue one. I think people have an issue shooting me when I use that skin. It's there's something bugged about that skin. Is it the real deal? From the reviews I've seen, it looks fire. Colors, yeah. I mean, I'm by no means an expert on the colors and shit, but I will say the stand is awful. I don't know how I haven't talked about this. I don't even want to touch it because it already it fell. But you guys can just see, look at that. It's just wobbly as hell. But I can, it sits still occasionally. Yeah, as long as you aren't touching it, it'll be fine. And the footprint of the stand is very small. What is that wobble? I promise you it was 20 times worse earlier, and the fucking monitor fell towards me. But I was messing around for wobbling it, so. From this stream, I can see how deep the blacks are. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Bro, get a monitor arm? Well, the thing is, I got this monitor yesterday, and I still haven't decided if I'm going to return it. I'm erring on the side of no. But I still haven't. Maybe I should just watch some fucking reviews. I don't know if the Asus monitor has any features that this doesn't. You don't use monitor arm? I'm sorry, guys. I got this yesterday. I didn't think I would just put it on an arm to start with, And I was thinking I would just return it, but now I don't know if I will. So, what's the best mouse on the market? Viper V3 Pro is a safe top recommendation. There's a lot. I mean, it's why I review these mice. It's one thing I was thinking about. Like, if there was a simple answer, I wouldn't be reviewing these mice. Just get an ARM regardless of monitor? I mean, I gotta decide if I want to keep it first. But yeah, if I do main this, I will get an ARM because I don't think that's bueno. And there's also, like, you can adjust the height. I wouldn't say the tallest height is like crazy tall. Maybe I'm just like have weird expectations though. Purple frost coating good for a person with sweaty hands. I don't think it's bad by any means. Yeah, I think should be fine. Zowie finally giving us a wireless Z8. True. Death Hour V3 Hyperspeed or Dex? For me, definitely the Dex. But if you have smaller hands, potentially the Hyperspeed. Need to stop buying mice. I don't got a budget like that. I mean, you have your endgame Finalmouse, surely. Mizu, what can you tell us about the Finalmouse event, if anything? Asus has extreme low motion blur at 240 Hz. Yeah, that's... If they had it at 480, miraculously, I would have been on... It's 3-year warranty versus 1 on Sony. And I feel like I'm going to jinx it, but I've never used a monitor warranty in my life. If, like, let's say a year and a half down the line this monitor dies, I'd be like, damn, that sucks. But I'd probably just get, like, a new top-of-the-line monitor. So maybe I just keep it. Maybe I keep it. Are mice nutritious? I'd imagine not. Generally don't want to be eating plastic. OLED, I'm definitely going with the 3-year. Damn. Now I feel like an idiot. Flawless taste. Hello, Boardsy. If you could pick top 3 Mousepad of all time. I'd say like Artisan 0, Artisan Hien, and maybe like a glass pad. You could really... The third one doesn't even matter, because once you have a 0 and a Hien, you'll just realize that that's the best mousepad you can get. Careful about the burden. Is burden a psyop? I'm probably fucked, though, because I usually leave my monitor on, like, overnight. I'll have to, like, turn it off or something. Top 3 right now on the market? Like, mice? I don't know. I feel like I'm too, like, recency biased with mice, but then again, sometimes I look around my collection, I'm like, there's really not that many good mice. Otsu is better than the Hien. I disagree, but there are a lot of Otsu truthers. I feel like it may come down to which you tried first. Check your Discord tags when you get a chance. I don't have that monitor, but I appreciate the settings. If you look back over your career of reviewing mice, which mouse do you think revolutionized the market most? GPX, easily. GPX 1 was like... It was like the fucking moon landing, except it actually happened. Wow. Thoughts on the Mrs. Incredible skin? It's a skin that's popular with some people. I don't know. I'm probably not going to buy it. Nope, everyone's wrong. Raiden is king. Yeah, Raiden's another option. I kind of forgot about that one when I was going on my artisan rant. Samsung Odyssey G7 still on my desk. I had a friend who had that monitor. Said very good things about it. But isn't it, like, super large? Why do I somehow like a boring shade of super light more than Viper V3 Pro? I mean, I'm sure plenty of people feel that way. Skyrox V8 versus Superlight Dex, they're just such different mice. It's like, do you want a small claw grip mouse or do you want a large, like, Ergo? I don't know. You know better than I. Testosterone level in nanograms per deciliter, total versus bioavailable. I'd imagine, like, towards the top scores recorded ever in both. GPX2 has Type-C, that is true. Oh, that might have been the most revolutionary feature ever on a mouse. Thoughts on the Miss Incredible skin getting nerfed? Did it? I haven't caught up. I just know somebody, like, I went to school with downloaded the game again to buy that skin. I was like, did you really do that? You're not even going to play the game? You just wanted to buy it? And he said yes. You think Key 83 is one of the top artisan pads? I think to me, it's just, like, interchangeable with the Otsu. I don't think the Key 83 is, like, better than the rest of the artisan lineup. I think it's fine, though. You going to FinalCon if there is one this year? I won't say no. Probably. I'd err on the side of yes. If I was flown out there, that would obviously, that'd even enhance the odds. Our mayor is cooked. Look, when you're here, you say friend of the channel, Mayor Adams. But yeah, he's going through some stuff, I get it, flights, They're expensive. If somebody's offering you a free flight, you take it. My fault, you're okay. But yeah, I just remember talking with him. I was like, we are going to change New York City through gaming mice. And he was like, yeah. LMAO, but bro, what is he doing? I don't know. He flew too close to the sun. There's sometimes in life, there's just opportunity in front of you. And he saw all of this opportunity and he took advantage of it. Boardsy political reviews? Now, I'm good on that, but I mean, New York City politics, I will give my opinion on that. Like Eric Adams, because the whole like city, there's been a lot of corruption. Like people have been resigning all over the place, and then this is like the real home run. All good as long as he strikes down congestion pricing. I was thinking like no way he continues as mayor, but then I thought a bit more on it. Maybe he does. Maybe he just keeps it up. But I swear, like I really am gonna get an NYC mayor hat and maybe even a fucking like the jacket he wears. Like it's pretty tough. Main differences between the S2 and the U2, it's just shape differences. What spot do you think has the best pizza? Probably Luigi's in Brooklyn, but there's many good pizza places in New York City, but I don't know, I always feel bad for people who like come to the city and they just try like a random spot and it sucks, and then they have this like horrible opinion that New York City pizza is not good. Boardsy, why don't you just make a mouse? Because I don't want to just release like one random mouse. You know, it'd have to be something Rocket Jump Ninja like, where it would be revolutionary. But even that, it's like that kind of ended Rocket Jump Ninja's mouse reviewing career. There's a lot of mid pizza here, but the good is so good. Exactly. And that's what people don't realize, just how good the good is. 480 Hz OLED worthy upgrade over PG27AQN? Yeah, I was the biggest PG27AQN shill ever, maybe, ever. And I will recommend 480 Hz OLED over this if you can afford it, if you don't care about the price. I just think it's better, objectively. X-Lite V3 Mini versus Lamzu Thorn. What do you prefer? Definitely the Thorn based on the size, but the standard X-Lite, it would just be a toss-up. But on like the Thorn, I feel like many of my flaws with the Thorn shape are actually fixed with the GPX Dex. He fell off after mouse reviews. I would never say that the Honorable Rocket Jump Ninja fell off, but he faded away into the sun for like a year and like rewrote his novel because the mouse market, it just didn't really interest him anymore. Wait, USA has cheaper mouse than EU. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, EU gets like fucked over by like extra taxes on everything as far as I know. Opinion on Costco pizza. Never had it, but I would imagine it's not great. RJN said he designed some mice that aren't released yet in his latest video. I did catch on to that. I also, I said it earlier, but I can't believe Rocket Jump Ninja said his favorite Pathfinder configuration was just, nothing on the sides with a hump. That was just fucking insane to me when I heard that. Is it worth driving 8 hours to Micro Center? I know he didn't even mean that in a disrespectful way, but imagine being the company that, designs a shape with so much modularity, and Rocket Jump Ninja's yeah, I like nothing on the sides. That was just funny to me. So does Australia Dex's 300 AUD? Well, see, I've always understood it that Australia's, currency is just, weak as hell for some reason, but I haven't understood why. Would you compare the ROG Keras 2 Ace to the Dex? Not at all. Did you ever use grips? Yes, many times, but I don't main them on mice really. I prefer a good coating. What'd you have for breakfast? I need to know. People have been asking me this a lot. I had a piece of toast and an egg scrambled with little pieces of ham, French ham, inside. So it was it's a nice little faux sandwich, an open-faced egg and ham sandwich. You think Pulsar X2 V2 Mini is playable? Of course. That'd be crazy to call it unplayable. It released last year. For dry hands, would you recommend Dark Flex Reflex XM28K? Is that the standard kind of translucent black one? I think that would work, yeah. Did you take a shower today? Yes. Any less than 50 gram mouse with good battery life? Finalmouse is probably the best off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm sure there are plenty with decent, but a lot of, especially the Chinese sub 40 gram mice, they're just using such small batteries that, pushes it. Do you have the new WL mouse carbon infused mouse? No, and I don't know when that one's going to be ready. Is InZone M10S good for Val? I would imagine. There's literally no reason it wouldn't be. Wasn't it also they have like the FPS Pro Plus mode or whatever, which is literally supposed to like boost visibility on Valorant. It was designed with the Valorant Pros or whatever the marketing reads. What do you think will be the new Finalmouse? I think it will be the Yolex competition based on the letters that have been shown. How many of these Gengars are bad build quality? I don't know. I've had people tell me that their units are perfect, but it seems like a batch-wide issue, and I'm over 2, so, you know, it's like, in my experience, it's pretty shit. You got the SH01 Pro already? Is that the Viper Mini clone? The Chinese one? Am I thinking of the right thing? How's the Arbiter Kitsu been going? I haven't been using it much. I just don't love it. I don't know what to say. Do you like the OP1 8K? I just bought it. I think it's like a really good small mouse. Obviously, performance-wise, it's pretty much unrivaled. But it's just too narrow of a shape for me. Yeah, exactly. That mouse, it's just too heavy. Like, if you want something Viper Mini shape-ish, just get a Deluxe M800, whatever the latest version is, like Ultra Ultimate. But yeah, the whatever that mouse is called from ROM, it did not impress me at all. I don't know why slim picks are still a thing on 2mm with the Yolex. I think something regarding Finalmouse and Pixar working on a proper fix. That's weird as hell. Did you ever get a reply from Asus regarding them using the 3395? Yeah, the email was literally like, they said, we want to be like Logitech, where they don't reveal what is in the hero sensor. And I was like, well, what can I say to that? But I assume, like, find a 3395 implementation with 750 IPS. I don't think there are any. So I do believe it's 3950. Could be wrong. Are you planning on reviewing the Series 2.0 Pro? Yeah, Glorious, they reached out to me apparently a few, like, months ago, but it was literally the email. So they offered to send me it early, I guess, but the email was, it literally said, like, Razer Viper Mini who, question mark, so I just thought it was, like, some spam thing. But then I clicked on it, and it was, like, somebody was offering to send me a Glorious mouse, so that was kind of funny. Is the new Finalmouse 8000 Hz? Yes, and they still do have, like, 8K is available for the current Finalmouse. Why does ATK even tweak the 3950? I don't think, pretty sure they're using, actually no, I guess they do have their own tweak chip. I don't know, companies just choose to do it. I realized China has so many people in it. That's why, like, companies like ATK, VXE, whatever the fucking parent company is, VGN, they have so much money because there are so many people in China. It's like something that clicked for me one day. Are clicks on the decks and the Superlight 2 different? If you had an early batch of the Superlight 2, yes, but the later batches, like if you bought one in the past like month or two, let's say, there's probably not going to be much of a difference. But yeah, in my experience, the Dex has lighter clicks. They're still not like as light as something like the Omron Opticals in the Lamzu Thorn, but it's just, I don't know, a lot better in Logitech's previous clicks. There's more like tactility. What's your favorite scroll wheel? I really don't know. Maybe like Deathfire V3 Pro? Like a fucking huge high profile, like, I don't know. Mid-off at MetLife? Jets only got 3 on the board? Okay, it's kind of good. I didn't miss too much. Whenever I end stream, I'll watch the remainder of that game. Most of the mice are made in China. I think every mouse is made in China. I genuinely can't think of one mouse that wasn't made in China. I don't think a mouse could be made in America. Like, I genuinely think it would take years for America to be able to produce a mouse on the level of the worst Chinese factory. What right now is the best cheap Chinese mouse? I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe the Mad R, even though I don't like it too much, because it's just like, it's a really like bland, boring shape to me. But like for under $50, it's not bad. Can you ask Logitech what gaming surface mode actually does? I guarantee you, if I ask them, because I do have a Logitech contact now, they would just give me like the most corporate jargon response ever. They'd be like, it enhances gaming surface compatibility on approved gaming surfaces, such as the Logitech like whatever. It would just be some shit like that. A mouse schizo. Let me produce a mouse a week. Yeah, maybe that would be the only way. It would have to be like handcrafted mice. A John Deere mouse. Well, here what Trump says about John Deere. Apparently, they're not operating in America anymore. How's the 480 hertz OLED? It's a very, very good monitor. I mean, there's just not much. It's a different experience to what I had been using with like 360 hertz IPS. But with ULMB, I feel like there is still less motion blur. But with this monitor being so much faster, I just still feel like it's a lot like easier to play with. But it's weird that there's an adjustment period for it. Like I just didn't instantly think it's the best monitor I've ever tried. After a little bit, I came to that realization. You think Ninjutsu / Sprime will ever get higher polling rate? I have no idea. Ninjutsu is like, situation's just bizarre. What would you be doing right now if you never made a YouTube channel? I have no idea. It's really a good question. You need to make your perfect mouse? I feel like so many mice are like close enough to perfect for me. But maybe at some point. You know, maybe it's just like a rite of passage as a mouse reviewer. Ninjutsu scammed 8K. It would really be hard to look at it as anything different at this point, but maybe like the factory just refused to give Ninjutsu dongles or something. Bought the 27AQN for $450 at Micro Center. I couldn't pass it up for new. That's a pretty insane deal. I was thinking about selling mine for like $275 or $300, like used. I don't even know if it's worth that much. Any good-looking red mice under $100? I have no idea. Red mouse. The Zaupin Z2. I think that comes in a red color. Open box, complete condition? Okay, well, I mean, if it's working, that's still a good deal. Why was Finalmouse not restocking like they said? They keep going with batches. Apparently, this next release, this is going to be the release where it stays in stock. I don't fucking know, though. I think Finalmouse is in a position, like, somewhat similar to Artisan, where... Nah, it's not even... Finalmouse might be, like, kind of worse than Artisan in that regard. They just, like... They produce a lot of mice, but there's just more demand. Sword X from WL Mouse has a lovely red finish, but it's $150. Yeah, it's a bit more than that guy wanted. There it is. The Red Maya? Do they still make it? I thought that was, like, the early batches. Do you like magnesium more or holeless? It's a good question. I guess I prefer holeless. Did your camera die? It did. I thought it would be alive by now, but you know, maybe now it will. Come on, camera. Oh, it's still off. That would impact the camera's ability to be on. What is the Finalmouse event? I don't know. It's going to be like some keynote address or something random. But I will be doing a watch party, as I always do. And that's in just over a week. Do you think that the Orbital Pathfinder is a really good concept? Yeah, concept undeniably. Do I think this review unit is like a high quality version of that concept? No, but that's why there's like a leap of faith that you have to take if you are going to pre-order this. But yeah, it's definitely... I do feel like a lot of the reviews like kind of glossed over that we received an unfinished product and there's no real guarantee how the final one is going to be. Even though the company like insists that it will be like ABS, everything will be higher quality and lighter. I still don't know how to use magnesium mouse TBH. Like, are they for fingertips only? I mean, like, they make the large size Finalmouse ULX and the Beast X Max. These are large enough for pretty much any hands, I'd say. Is there a price for a Pathfinder? I believe it's $189 USD. 480 Hz OLED versus 540 TN? I don't know. I'd imagine OLED, but maybe 540 TN with, like... Does Zowie have, like, Diac on that monitor? That might be, like, a more clear experience. I still need to put more time on this monitor. That's pretty much what Fresh Review said. Yeah, I said earlier in the stream that my, like, opinion on this mouse is closer to Fresh Reviews than most of the, like, other reviewers. But it is kind of telling that I think most... Like, nobody who reviewed this mouse said that one of like the crazy right side like interesting designs was the best for them, because I think the harsh truth is that people enjoy basic feeling nice. Like even me right now, I have like the average left side. I think this is called the pinch on the right side, and then like the high hump with a spacer. Like this is a pretty somewhat basic mouse shape. Is that Zowie 540TN still holding up? I don't know. I haven't tried it. Do you think Skyrock V8 is actually a Sora V2 killer? I mean, definitely. Like, if you don't have a Sora V2, I don't think I could recommend somebody to buy one over a V8. RJN actually really liked one of the crazy sides, but didn't he say at the end of the video that he actually preferred playing with no sides? Like, that was fucking incredible to me. I say this while watching on an Asus 540Hz TN. Oh, interesting. Oh, OLED's faster? Yeah. Did you experience the input lag? No. Yasmanian, they like took that back. Like if you check their review, they're like, oh, we were wrong. It's actually like 0.5 ms or like sub 1 ms. I don't know. What happened to the Heavy B? I was actually just using it yesterday. It's a good pad. I honestly feel like the mousepad scene is just kind of like a cult. And I'm part of the artisan cult. But something like the Coruscant Samurai got like so much hype. But I just don't see how that's like a better pad than the Heavy B. Like the Samurai is using like an OEM texture, and the Heavy B, it's just like a similar style of pad. But like one of these pads is like pad of the year, and then the other one, it's just like nobody fucking cares. What do your parents think of your content? They are extremely supportive of the mouse reviewing dream. But back when I was in high school, like spending all of my money on mice, they were a little bit, they were like, huh, is this really the future? It was indeed. Would you recommend Viper V3 Pro for Fortnite? Definitely. I saw Muzz was using it. He had been using like a Viper Mini Sig, but at some point switched to Viper V3 Pro. Should I switch off the Model O- and Skyrox V8? Probably. Pads get very preferentially awkward. People love the Gecko. It felt like a firm OEM pad to me. Exactly, Bilbo. It's like, it's really weird. So that's kind of why I've stepped away from them. Because I feel like I could step away from mouse pads for like fucking 5 years. Artisan would still be on top. It's kind of insane. You tried the Dash 2 Max? Yeah, that was just, it was such a lame pad to me. But the Focus Max was good. Like the cloth pad version. Thoughts on the Saturn Pro Firm? It didn't really, like, I don't prefer it over any version of the Zero. Like, I was using it for a bit, and it was it's a fine like control pad, but I enjoyed my time on the Neptune Pro Firm more. If I just want like a cloth control pad, it wouldn't have been the Saturn Pro Firm. Probably prefer the soft. What desk do you have? I honestly have no idea. XG V2 Mini for fingertip hand size 18x10. I think that's solid. Unless they like, I don't think they are going to release like an X2 V3 that's like a lower weight. Maybe they will though. I'm about to buy the Viper V3 Pro. Is a Viper 4 coming out soon? No, not at all. That one just released like, what was it, last April or so? Was it April? Like, I have no idea. It released like last spring though. So you're good for at least like another year, I'd guess. Had a Zero Soft for a long time. I prefer the GSR2 that I recently bought. I mean, both of them are control cloth pads. Zowie, their sizes and their pricing is not questionable. But it does seem like they finally learned, like they're going to make larger pads. Crazy. See a 500 by 500 Zowie Mousepads? Yeah, I did. Which the ones I just brought up. It's kind of crazy because I do hate that these companies were like, oh, 500 by 500, it doesn't matter. Pro players hate it. But then a few years later, I am once again vindicated. So pretty much a trick is you can take anything I say that's controversial, and then a few years later, it's going to be the truth. What are the best mice for claw grip? It depends on a lot of things, like how much you want to pay for a mouse, what your hand size is, if you prefer Ambis or Ergos. I don't know. I think if you have large hands, you're looking at some safe options right now. And then again, like small hand claw grip, that's its own area, I guess. I like when Vaxi said they won't go wireless and now they're all wireless. Yeah, the same thing with them like gradually releasing lower weight products. Same thing with Zowie. It's kind of insane. How'd you take the news about the New York mayor? Well, friend of the channel Eric Adams, me and him are obviously we have a like pretty tight relationship. I didn't know about any of the Turkey stuff, any of what was going on, but it's it's sad to hear. It's clearly a great man just trying to do his job as mayor, and he's in the middle of some like political nonsense. So I just hope he can get back on his feet and get back to his mayoral duties. What's the best mouse out right now? I don't know. I'd say the Viper V3 Pro, probably all around. GPX Dex, it's a very fine Ergo. It's new though, so maybe it's just a honeymoon phase. Skates would you recommend for the Artisan Zero? I have a very light mouse. I don't put much downward pressure while aiming. Well, do you want like a fast skate? It's like some like X-Ray Pad Jade Airs. They make the Zero feel very fast. So if you want to make it feel fast, maybe those. Viper V3 Pro, Zowie GSRC Rouge. How is the combination? It's a very fine combination. Especially if you just want like a standard control pad like the GSR. Going to Japan soon. Where should I go to find artisans? I don't know if they have artisans in stores. I made a video on this though, so I'd recommend watching that. It's like the best stores to buy mice and keyboards in Japan or something. Very specific to that question you asked. But artisan, like Japan stores may have stock issues with artisan. They did a few months ago at least. Do you have a referral link for artisan pads? No, they don't do affiliate links. And neither does JP Gaming USA. But one can only imagine I would be a multi-millionaire if that was the case. Bic camera? Yeah, Bic camera, it's definitely a top option. Just pretty much any huge store in Akihabara, just walk around. You look like a Kamala voter. You said this last week. Or Kamala voter, however you say it. New Finalmouse drops soon. True, on the 8th. Tell you what, I'm a fucking Mayor Adams voter. I'll vote for him through thick and thin. I'll write him in. I don't care if he's forced to resign. Or if he's in a federal prison. Eric Adams. Is the Viper or Viper V2 Pro still a good pickup? I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, the V2 Pro, if you want like a flat Zowie FK style shape, it could still be an option, but I just wouldn't recommend it. There's a retail store called Tsukumo X in Japan, which carries artisan. Yeah, it depends where you are as well. Like there's PC1s in Osaka. Dude, Eric made the shittiest bike lanes. Well, he's doing the best with what he can work with. Oh, we just talking about mouses. Had some questions for keyboards. I mean, you can ask away. But keyboards, I don't know, just get a Wooting. My recommendation. Some other stuff. Will you come to Japan again? I'd hope so. I imagine in my life I'll definitely make it back there once. Will that be in the next year? There's no telling. But I'm always open. I'm always open to going to Japan. I really want to go to China, though. Like, Japan, it would probably be my number one goal if I hadn't been there. But now it's like, I got to see China. Like, they have 1.3 billion people. It's a lot of people. Yo, Jake, you. Hey, boards. Yeah, what does Rex think about his decks? I actually gave it to him, and he wasn't... Like, he was laying on his back. I just put it on his stomach. I was trying to take a photo, and he, like, totally tweaked out and, like, walked out of the room. So he doesn't seem like he's a fan of the decks, though that's... Could also be somewhat my fault. Who's wiggling the mouse? That would be me. Video about what people play on in Blast CS Final. People asked about that earlier, and I will probably make that video after there's a major, but maybe if the peripherals are interesting, I could do it about this one. Have you tried the ATK Sky Mousepad? Just bought it, and it's still adapting, and I think it's causing a bit of sweat on my hand. Yeah, that happens with some, like, more dense, like, kind of cloth surfaces. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's just kind of like a Saturn. It's like a cheaper version of the Saturn Pro with, like, slightly lower quality materials. Is the 40Hz so much better than 360Hz OLED? I hadn't tried 360Hz OLED. I was on the PG27AQN, which was 1440p, 360Hz, like fast IPS or whatever. And it's better than that. I wouldn't say it's like so much better that I couldn't go back to what I was on previously, but yeah. When did the decks come out? It's been out for like a week or so. I only got mine like 3 days ago, I think. What brand is that OLED? It's the Sony InZone M10S. It was pretty expensive. What mouse has the lowest latency, in your opinion? Well, latency, it's generally, the numbers are generally facts. I guess wired, it would be the OP18K. Wireless, like Razer's Tech, is among the best on the market. Lastly, most, even like just default like firmwares for mice like the Skyrox V8 or like sub 1 ms click latency. Which mouse would be a step up from the Sora V2? I mean, depends what you're looking for, like better quality, because better weight and shape, you're just going to be like switching between things that are more or less the same. Like there's no like Chinese Sora V2 clone that's just like way better than it. TacShark K85 Hall Effect keyboard, will you try it? No. I can tell you that TacShark, they did not make the best Hall Effect keyboard on the market. There are some companies, like, that would be like asking me to review like a Red Dragon keyboard. It's like I can see through it. Why didn't you go for Zowie 520Hz? Because I told myself a long time ago that the next time I would get a monitor, it would be 480Hz OLED. So I did what I had to do. Skyrox V8 good for Fortnite? Yeah, especially if you have like small to medium sized hands. ULX still your main mouse? I wouldn't say it's my main, but I still am using the small size a lot. Quick top 3 Ergo mice. That's a good question. I'd say easily like 2 of them are the Death Adder V3 Pro and the GPX Dex for me. But I mean, it really depends. Like some people like Outset AX, Lamzu Thorn, like Pulsar X Lite, Zowie EC2. Like it just depends on the style of Ergo. WL Mouse Sword X. So many fucking Ergos. What do you do with all the mice you get? Do you resell some? Some I will sell. But I really do keep most of the mice that I get. Kind of crazy. And lots of giveaways as well. What do you have on the bottom of your Superlight? Mine is completely worn out. On my like actual GPX2, I have like some Tiger Ice V2s or something, maybe Jades. But on this mouse, the Dex, I have some dots, like extra pad, mixing and matching. Mice powder. Interesting. Yeah, maybe that's like a thing, like powder to put on your mice to prevent sweating. What's the best mouse? Like everybody's commenting, what's the best mouse? I'd say Viper V3 Pro. I'd also recommend watching my videos generally. Do you think, wait, just answer that. Now, Mouse, what do you think of the ZenBlade 65? I don't find it to be a great, like, feeling keyboard. But it seems like a lot of people like it. Like, it is good quality. Nobody's denying that. I just wouldn't recommend, like, I feel like it's the amount you're paying for it, it's like there's no innovation, really. But some people like it, once again. Lamzu Thorn is perfect for me. I feel intimidated when seeing aimers use small mice like the OP18K. I mean, if you enjoy the Thorn, I presume you enjoy, like, some palm contact. Just like a more relaxed grip, and that's not something you're going to get much of with the OP1. You should review the Mcho's M7. It's a bigger and lighter Zowie U2 for $50 USD. Is it available? I don't know why. I heard about that mouse months ago, but then there weren't any updates. How's 480Hz OLED? It's good. In every regard, it's pretty good. But surprisingly, it's not, like, it's taking me a while to adjust to. Should end stream sometime soon and put some more time on it. Wait, actually, fuck, I gotta watch the Jets game. And do both at once. How do you grip the Viper V3 Pro? When I used it, my thumb went way past the sensor, making it feel like I was aiming with my palm. I mean, my thumb doesn't go way past the sensor. You can kind of see how they line up. It's just a little bit past it, if anything. WL Mouse B6 Max 8K Hertz, good. Yes, it's a solid mouse. You should make a video about all of the company's flagship mice against each other. Like, which companies, though? Because that's the thing with, like, a flagship mouse. Like, what would Pulsar's flagship mouse be considered? Or are they not even a company that qualifies? How do you mean adjust to 480 hertz? Like, it's it's very different because it's noticeably lower input latency than the monitor I had been using, even more dramatically when I'm playing Fortnite, because I had used like the ultra low motion blur mode on my PG27AQN. So the game was a lot smoother, like looking, and there was also like more input latency. So with this, I'm just like, I'll flick to somebody, like I'll have my target confirmed, but I won't shoot. Like I'll wait for it to be like slightly off my screen that I shoot. Like I'm just accounting for latency that isn't there anymore, kind of. That's at least what I noticed. I'm sure there are skill issues amongst this. Your mouse doesn't scratch with dots in the artisan. What does that mean? No. Damn, bro, what is your main mouse? Because you have so many good mice. Say, well, like when I'm not testing stuff, it's generally Razer Viper V3 Pro, but since I got it, the GPX Dex has not left my hand much. Got 240 hertz. Is 480 a huge leap, or is it like 240 to 360? Going from 360 to 480, I don't think it was that big. 240 to 360, I don't know. Going back to 240 does feel very low, kind of. I would say, like, going from 240 to 480, you're going to notice a difference. Whether it will be, like, a difference you couldn't go back to, it will just depend. But it will be better, objectively. Because you got to realize, like, people were saying years ago that you don't need to go above 144 hertz. A lot of people are just, like, brain stunted. Do you know any way to lower your mouse latency? I mean, directly, like, if you really want to significantly lower latency, you're going to have to do things, like, at a system level. There's, like, only so much you can do, like, with basic mouse settings. I find it funny that you got the OLED before the Fnatic players that was supposedly developed with. That is kind of funny. I ordered it apparently the day it launched. I just saw it on Twitter, and I saw people talking about it. I looked it up, and I was like, oh, shit, it's actually in stock, unlike the Asus one I had been looking at. Most of the input lag really isn't on the peripherals anymore. Yeah, generally, it has been reduced. Have you thought about scanning your hand to make a custom mouse? Not really. I doubt it would. Like, I don't know, maybe you'd be able to, like, get a good shape to be stuck in one grip, but it wouldn't be good for, like, when you actually slightly alter your grip when moving the mouse in game. I don't know, I think basic shapes just work so well for people. We don't really need to do anything out there. Damn, my camera died again? I don't know how many more camera deaths I have in me before I have to end this stream. Piranha Mousepads makes custom mice? Yeah. The 3D printed stuff, it's like, I don't know. I feel like 3D printed stuff has had many years to get better, and it just hasn't. Am I crazy? Why? What do you have? Do you have the ROG 480? No, I have the Sony one, the InZone M10S. Think of the Zalpin Z2. I've been using it for a few weeks now. It's a good budget mouse. I just think the shape is like, it's really like blocky. You have something like the GPX Dex, which is just like such a different take on an Ergo, and I think just a better design. Like the Z2, it's just like a very, like an idiot could make that shape. It'd take a real genius to make the Dex, but it's a fine mouse. What do you think is a good alternative to the HSK Pro Ace? Something a little bigger, honestly. Like pure fingertip mice, you could maybe try the HTR. You could try the Keychron M5 or whatever it is, or the Dharma Shark M5. I don't know. Both of those companies make like fingertip mice. The hump is too high on the Dex. I find the hump height fine, but I do have larger hands, so it does feel more natural to me. But I just don't like the button height. It's like, I don't know. Prefer the Dex or the normal GPX2? In Fortnite, at the moment, probably still the normal GPX2. But I don't know. That could change over time. Just want to thank you for the time you spend on making good videos and the fact that they are available for your subscribers. I appreciate that, XIXO. Keep it up. The Dex is genuinely really good. It pisses me off. Why would it piss you off? I mean, I figured it would be really good. Like, I did not expect Logitech to just make some, like, shitty shape, and they thankfully didn't. Did you order the new Wooting ADHE? It has been on my desk for a while, and I will have a review out somewhat soon. Dharma Shark is okay, cheap shit. I agree. But some people insist they make like the best mice on the market. Do you have mouse recommendations for huge hands? Currently, I'm looking at X-Lite V3, but now I have Death Arrow V3 wired. I mean, Asus, the Harp Ace, GPX Dex is accommodating for larger hands, but if the Death Arrow V3 works, might as well stick with that. How to avoid the FOMO about mice? Should I get good with what I have or keep buying? I have 7 now. Presuming, I think a lot of people get FOMO with like shitty mice, but if you have a lot of good mice, like let's just say like the recent Logitech and Razer releases, like you should probably be able to play at your best with one of those. Does Alt-Tab have a delay on the OLED? That's another thing. In addition to the wobble, my only issues are like sometimes the Alt-Tab is weird. Like if I tab out of a full screen game, it's like a 50-50 on if it's gonna like drop signal for a second and just be weird as hell. I don't even know how to exactly describe what the issue is. Did you hear RJN has more mice in the pipeline? Yeah, I did. Very exciting times. FOMO on massively produced mice? No, there's a lot of, not really this week. There is no mouse of the week, but generally people come into my stream and they're like, oh, are you going to review like this random like 30-gram Chinese mouse? And then they're always on to a next one by the next stream. Can you notice the difference between 1 versus 4/8K on 144 hertz? Probably not. I doubt you have a good enough PC to run like high polling rates if you're on a 144 hertz monitor. And if you do, then you're massively held back by your monitor, more so than you ever would be by polling rate. I'm going to go for Asus OLED because it's 250 euros cheaper. That's a good idea. Yeah, I don't know how much this one... Did I pay that much more than I could have for the Asus one? That's kind of fucking crazy. Any idea what Finalmouse will show? A new mouse. Are you going to drop a full review on the Akitsu? I don't know. I don't feel like there's really much more I could say aside from, like, it's alright. Like, it's just not groundbreaking to me. Advancer's never made a mouse that's, like, top of the market, I feel. Will you do a video on the monitor? Yeah, after some more use. 2K versus 4K polling rate. Huge. Now, the differences are relatively minor. Though I do notice high polling rates on this monitor. It's definitely very, very noticeable. Should I get Viper V3 Pro in white or black? Doesn't matter. I'd say white, but, you know, it's not a huge deal. Sora V2 come with 8K dongle? No. Why don't you rate the Arc 2 skates high? Because they're just outdated. They focus on the Tiger Ice skates as opposed to the Arc. What's your main mouse? Currently using a Viper V3 Pro? That's generally my main. It's not a bad choice. Do you know if Finalmouse is going to do a new shape? I highly doubt it. But they might make their current shape with flat sides. No holes on the side. Big for Finalmouse. No need to spam, guys. True. Can you please play a Fortnite game with some good mice like V3 Pro or Beast 8K? Right now, no, because I'm like streaming and I just know I would have like screen tearing and the 480 hertz would just feel shitty and that would just annoy me. And there's also too much stuff on my desk, but never say never. Ain't no way they're doing a new shape. Who? Oh, Finalmouse? Yeah, no way. People forget who Finalmouse is. They haven't done a new shape in like a decade, literally. Did you buy the new UKM Glass Mousepad? No. Did those start shipping out? I remember there was so much, like, drama when that mousepad got announced. But, like, have they ever fucking shipped? What are they going to do then? I just told you. They're going to put flat sides on the normal shape. Just bought an OP1 8K. Looking forward to trying it. Pretty based. Is BSX 8K with Omron Optical's POG? Yeah, I'd say it's one of the top Omron optical implementations. Greetings. Hello, Sora LTD. Sora, like the mouse. What are your thoughts on Huntsman V3 Pro? It's fine, but I just, like, Razer keyboards, just the actual feeling of the switches, I don't like. So when you give me a choice of Wooting or that, at, like, the same exact performance and price, I'm just going to pick Wooting. Love the way you're handling that mouse. Yeah, I've only been touching this mouse, like, all stream. Pretty unentertaining stream. Well, for, like, as far as the screen is concerned. How's your day been? It's been good. I've spent around an hour and 45 minutes here just talking about this. Gonna go end the stream in a few minutes here and watch the New York Jets. But so far, this day's been great. And I'm gonna test this monitor some more. And then tomorrow, I'm probably going to review the Orbital Pathfinder. Not even a review, just like an overview, an introduction. Excited for the fingertip pulsar mouse? So yeah, it's easy to forget about. So much stuff in the pipeline. Sora V2 or OP1 for small Asian hand claw grip? Probably OP1, honestly. It's just hard to recommend paying $100 for the Sora, no high polling rate dongle. There's other options. How's the weather been? Not affected by hurricanes? Yeah, I'm like well out of the range of the hurricanes. It has been kind of like gloomy though, like rainy. So maybe that is the hurricanes actually. How does the Superlight 2 feel after the update became better? I didn't update my Superlight 2. I did update my Dexes though, because people are saying there were GlassPad tracking compatibility issues, which I didn't experience. Like this tracked perfectly fine on my Glassworks Kazumi. I just wanted to like have the Superlight 2 on the old firmware as like a safe unit just in case it was fucked up. What dots are those? The purple ones are the Obsidian Airs from X-Ray Pad, and the green ones are the Jade Airs from X-Ray Pad. It's a meta combo. People will think like, oh, this doesn't perform well, but I don't know. What's the best mousepad for Fortnite with Tiger Ice skates? Artisan 0, Artisan Hien. Hard to complain about either of those. How are the Jade Airs? They're very good, but they're just fucking fast as hell. Like, I have them on my Viper V3 Pro, just 4 skates, and it's the most slippery the Artisan 0 has ever felt. Do you like glass skates? Not really. I actually got sent meteorite dots from X-Ray Pad. Are they right here? Here they are. The meteorite dots. Are they black? Apparently they are. Have you ever had to clean your artisan pad? Yeah, I just like spray it with Lysol and then rub it with a microfiber, but that's not the most popular method. Yo, Zopher, how have you been? Back on your YouTube channel, I imagine. Unless that is a different YouTube channel. Superglide is actually good. The Superglide skates, I don't know. Glass skates, they just kind of, they were a fad, some could say. So yeah, these are the new glass dots from X-Ray Pad. I guess this will be a product at some point. What do you think about the new HTX Mini? It's just too small prop for me. I can tell you already if it's just going to be too small for me, but maybe for other people it will be viable. Wooting 60HE or Easy 61? For me, I definitely recommend Wooting, but yeah. Yeah, back on it, but since my shit got striked, my videos aren't being pushed anymore? Damn, really? It's unfortunate. Which artisan mousepad do you think is the best? Just overall, probably the Zero Soft would just be my top general recommendation. But if you want to have your eyes open to like what a mousepad can be, probably Hien. Somebody's in chat saying the Osu. People love the Osu. People swear by the Raiden as well. So it's like, you know, there's just many a mousepad. How are you liking a GPX? The Dex is really good. The only thing that I really would change about it would be the side button positioning, I guess, just a little bit, and the button height. I guess the button height, even for palm grip, it's not too bad, but I just wish it was like a few millimeters lower. I don't know why that is. Maybe I just deemed it to be most optimal. Ride or die for the Type 99. I love the pad. It's a good pad. Some people were saying it's overhyped, and I just don't know what they expect. It's people for years been asking for an actual control pad from Artisan. That's what the Type 99 is, and then people are like, it's overhyped, so I just don't fucking get it. What mouses do you like for fingertip? You'll like small, just anything that's like kind of a Finalmouse clone is among my favorites. X2 V2 Mini, I think, is a very good shape as well. Dex hype, yes, the Dex is pretty hype. Is it worth upgrading from a GPX1 to a GPX2 Dex? If you want a larger Ergo shape, yeah. If you want to just stick with the GPX shape, I'd just get a standard GPX2. I heard you say in your first impressions that the side buttons still feel shitty, but I thought they were a big improvement. I mean, mine are like, there's just the same, it's just the exact same like style of button as the, like, look at that mushiness. It's just the exact same as the Superlight, except they're larger. And I think the positioning, it's like, they're just really high up on the shell. And like the Mouse 4 is like even angled just like higher up. You think X2H can be fingertip? I think you can pull it off. I just think it's so much less like optimized for fingertip than the X2 V2 that What the fuck? I just accidentally dragged my camera off my screen. Thoughts on the Diddy situation? Well, Diddy's not a friend of the channel like May or Adam, so, I mean, I don't care. He can do whatever he wants. He's probably going to stay in prison for some time, though. I played a couple DMs on CS2 with 0, and the pad felt like scratching on my mouse. That's an issue with your mouse skates, I'd imagine. What? I just answered that, I feel. They should have put the chonker side buttons of the G403. That's what I felt. And even if they were too large, like, you can make them a little bit smaller, but they invested, like, real estate into these side buttons, and they're just, it misses a little bit. Have you ever tried 131 grip? Yeah, but I just, like, I don't know. It's not something I can really ever get behind. Is Dex the Ergo king for you? I wouldn't, like, say that, but it's definitely like one of the top ergos on the market. It's way better than any EC clone has ever felt to me. Like the Pulsar X lights, even the WL mouse sword. Like, I prefer this. What do you think about the OP18K craze? It's a good mouse. It's probably a little bit overhyped in like the aimer sphere. Yeah, you can't deny the latency, but I can deny the size. If they made a large version, I'd probably like it a bit more. I think the wireless versions will feel a little bit dense compared to the wired one. G102 or Razer Death Adder. I'd recommend like using mice that were released closer to the year 2024. They should make a G703 Superlight? Yeah, but I just really doubt it. Like, Logitech just released a new Ergo shape. Like, the odds that they just go back to the old one is very low in my opinion. I swear I just answered the fingertip mouse question like 2 minutes ago, so I don't know. Dex versus Death Adder V3 Pro? I mean, it's just a real question. It's like, what style of shape do you want? It's a question I don't even have the answer to myself. I would say the Dex is like more natural and comfortable. But yeah, I don't think, like, I don't perform drastically better. I do also like the Dex's sensor position, but they're just different shapes, really. Yeah, I'll have more on that in my full review of the Dex. I think that will be about all for the stream. Just a chill stream. Answered a lot of questions. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Make sure to leave a like on the stream for some reason. Respect your elders. Have a great rest of your Sunday. But yeah, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day. Hope the same for everybody else.